How do you feel today, Adri?
After all these tryouts to put everything, to settle everything, I feel great.
Show business is not easy. But I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about love? Do you feel in love these days?
I feel very much in love by finding more and more myself lately, actually, and finding love in all kind of hidden places. And it is a mysterious feeling, actually, when you go very, very deep in your heart.
So how do you feel when you feel in love with yourself?
When I feel in love with myself, I feel I am free of any kind of desires, and I feel that I can experience life in a different level or in a different way, let's say. And until recent years, I was living my life and I was measuring my happiness through how much I was feeling myself in love. And it was making me feel that this is the purpose of being in, like, being happy means to be in love. It doesn't matter with
someone
whom or with someone, or, and of course I was having different experiences by being in love with someone, but also being in love with life itself. And this was making me feel that I am not attached, or the object of my happiness is not necessarily a man. And this was a big revelation when I discovered that being in love with life can be one of the biggest achievements.
So what do you do when you're in love with life? How do you express this love for life? Maybe your own specific way, or what do you like to do?
When I am in love with life, I enjoy especially finding those little miracles during the day. Like, for example, observing the light itself coming in a special way in the room, or finding synchronicities that are showing me that I am somehow aligned with and integrated in my daily activities, or speaking with somebody dear to me and finding different subjects that are entertaining our heart, and that we are finding this common connection that take us more deeply in our soul, or admiring a piece of art or a video that is revealing something meaningful and beautiful for my soul.
Or music. I know you like to listen to music a lot.
Yes, music especially. Lately I started to listen music in more, like, to be much more attentive again, as I used to be, of the different sounds and instruments, and feel more deeply what it is awakening in me. Yes, this is another way of being in love with life itself for me as well. But how it is for you? How do you feel when you are in love with life? Let's take this first.
Okay, so in the beginning it sounded more abstract for me, but I was pondering about this, and I actually felt in love with life this morning, because I woke up so enthusiastic and super early, which for me is something that I don't usually do, and I started doing many things, and I felt this happiness that it's morning, that it's a new day, and I can spend it in so many ways. And even I felt this state when you feel like dancing, but to a song that is playing in your head. So for me, when I have this state, when I can hear a music and I feel like dancing or playing around, I feel that I have this feeling of being in love with life, of feeling alive, feeling full of energy and happiness. So for me, happiness is a criteria for me to measure how much I'm in love with life, to say so. And also in relationships, happiness is a criteria for how much love I'm manifesting. Because when I'm not manifesting love, I'm in a state of emptiness or suffering or lack, and then I don't feel so much love. I feel more need or lack of my needs being fulfilled, or different things that come up and cover the love. But I also want to ask you about what is the difference between being in love and loving. What do you think? Is there a difference, or is being in love is inferior to loving, or different quality of love that you manifest when you love rather than being in love?
So there is actually many differences between being in love or falling in love with somebody and really loving somebody. And of course, in the beginning of a relationship, when we feel those butterflies and the excitement of seeing the other one and the enthusiasm, everything, it is fueled by this interest in the new energy that it is manifesting in the beginning of the relationship. And of course, there is a lot of interest from both of the lovers when both of them are in love, and I have experienced that it is so beautiful and it's so much energy and excitement around the whole idea of falling in love. We can also take this analogy that many people fall in love nowadays, and they are very excited to fall in love, and they love that feeling that they have inside, but they don't have necessarily the time, the patience and the profoundness to continue and to make it thrive and to make it a profound relationship that will somehow bear the fruits that will be manifested only in time.
So actually, can you say that, for example, when people fall in love initially and there's this huge enthusiasm and you feel like you could do anything for the other one, and the other one is perfect, you only see the qualities, you don't see the flaws of that person, could you say that it's more of a projection that we put on the other one, or it's something that our soul that our soul can see in the other one?
I feel that usually when we are falling in love, we have this ideal image of the other one. We see the best. We even have this magnifying glass. Only after a while, when we are discovering things that we don't like, which usually it's not possible to have it on from the beginning of the relationship. And it is happening sometimes. I've even seen cases when, for example, two lovers are together and they are very happy, and the woman is super enthusiastic about the man and she sees the best, greatest qualities in him. But then, for example, the friend of the woman, who also knows the man from a longer time, and she's like saying, but you know, like, he's not really like that. Like, you should pay attention and be very careful because you might get disappointed. Mm-hmm. And the woman which is in love, she cannot actually see those flaws in the man because she's blinded by this ideal perspective upon him,
which sometimes can be infatuation, when you really see that the other one is perfect, but after time passes and, as you said, you get to know also the weak points of that person, you realize you're not so enthusiastic anymore. Then it shows that it was infatuation, because it's normal that time passes in a relationship and that you get to know each other from all angles and know all the qualities and all the flaws, but you still feel enthusiastic about the person. You still are excited. Your heart is shivering when you meet the other one. And from my perspective, I noticed that whenever there's this super strong intensity in the beginning and looks like it's the fairy tale relationship, it's actually something to be careful about, because it can be infatuation. And to let some time to pass, which can be at least a couple of months, until things settle down a bit, and then to see if they feel for each other in the same way, then it shows that it turns into love, into deep love, what they feel. Otherwise, it's this superficial love, which is like a hay fire, which you light the fire very easily, and it lights, it makes a big fire, and then it consumes very fast, which leads to all these disappointments that we feel nowadays, that even brings some people to the point that they think love doesn't exist, there's no point in believing in love anymore. I know I also had these moments when I was so disappointed. I felt maybe I would just never find this kind of ideal love that I have in my heart on this planet or in this life. Maybe it's just something that appears in the movies and in the books, and everything is a scam. So this can appear if we are disappointed, but it's important to see that how did we get to the point of being disappointed, because you can only get disappointed when you had higher expectations than reality. So therefore, each time when I was disappointed and I felt sad about the outcome, it was because I had some projections and I was idealizing and fantasizing about the beginning of the relationship, which actually turned out to be more of an infatuation or this superficial love. And another thing I want to add to this is that us being on a tantric path from a long time, since many years, and practicing yoga and tantra, we also relate to the system of the chakras. And we can make some analogies with this state of falling in love, which is very specific to the second chakra. And this is all that has to do with pleasure, with erotic energy, and all this
social interaction also.
Yes, exactly. So
being liking the other
yes,
one.
Exactly, and there's a need to connect, need for diversity, need for experience. And as in the same way, from the perspective of the chakras, when we truly learn how to love profoundly, and we can go through sacrifices with that person, we can go through challenges, we can withstand difficulties, then we can say that our love comes from the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. And from there we love with our whole being. We don't exclude some parts of that person which we don't like, and then we change our state and we don't love her anymore because we just discovered something we don't like. Because the heart chakra can encompass that person or that being, or let's say even life, because we were speaking about being in love with life. While when we are in the second chakra, we are just commuting from one aspect to the other. And this is the superficiality, because one day you feel in love, then the next day maybe you don't feel in love, or you feel in love with someone else. While if you are centered in your heart and you love from your heart chakra, then it's much more stable, because it's much more profound, the state of love that we experience.